Greetings, my dear friends. We continue with our study of the book of Daniel, which is essential and foundational and basic to our study of the book of Revelation. And today, in this video, we are going to look at Daniel chapter 2. I would suggest that you first read Daniel chapter 2 before continuing to listen to this video. If not, as soon as you finish viewing this video, you can go back and read Daniel chapter 2 from your own Bible. I will be going into further details of Daniel chapter 2 when I come later on and discuss Daniel chapter 8 and Daniel chapter 7. So when I'm discussing Daniel chapter 7, I will also be coming back to Daniel chapter 2. In my earlier video, in the introduction to Daniel, I had told you that, or I had already explained that Daniel, which is having the book of Daniel, which has 12 chapters, is divided into two halves. The first 6 chapters are historical, which are events which happened in the lifetime of the prophet Daniel. And the second 6 chapters, that is from chapter 7 to chapter 12, are prophetic, or these are visions which were given to the prophet Daniel, and he recorded them. Now there is a further division in the book of Daniel in what is known as the language division. So the book of Daniel, the first chapter and chapters 8 to 12, these chapters are in the Hebrew language, in the Hebrew alphabet. But from chapter 2, verse 4 onwards to the end of chapter 7, these chapters are in the Aramaic language but using the Hebrew alphabet. So it's basically in the Aramaic language. So chapter 2 to chapter 7, including both of these chapters, are in the Aramaic language, although they use Hebrew letters. The idea here being that these chapters are opened or are written in such a way that they are open to Gentiles also who don't know the Hebrew language, so that they may understand that our God is a God of prophecy, our God is the only true and living God, and our God is the only God who is able to predict the future and tell the ending from the beginning. So to prove that our God is the only true and real God, and that whatever is written in these chapters from chapter 2 to chapter 7 also concerns the Gentile nations, and also is a witness to the Gentile nations of the fact that our God is the only true and living God, and that He is the author of time, He is the creator of the entire universe, the heavens and the earth, and He is the one who knows the ending from the beginning and prophesies the ending from the beginning. And He is the only true and living God. So as part of this, we see in chapter 2, somewhere in verse 4, that it is written that the statement is made that he spoke in Aramaic. Right? So, yes, so Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar is having this dream, and then he starts speaking in Aramaic. And from then onwards till the end of chapter 7, the entire book of Daniel is in Aramaic. Originally, it was probably in Aramaic with the Aramaic alphabet, but as it was later handed down, it was, if you look at the Old Testament, which is available with the Jews, in the Jewish Bible, it is in the Hebrew alphabet but in the Aramaic language. But originally, I believe that it would have been in the Aramaic language with the Aramaic alphabet. But as the Jews have been using the book of Daniel, and it was open to the Jews after the captivity in Babylon, where many of them forgot the use of the Aramaic language. And so it has right now, if you go to a Jew, you will see chapter 2 to chapter 7 in Aramaic language but with the Hebrew alphabet. Right? So regardless of all of that, what is unique about chapter 2 is the vision of chapter 2 is given twice. The vision of chapter 2 is originally given to the Gentile king Nebuchadnezzar, who is the king of Babylon, who has taken Daniel into captivity and has kept him under training to be one of his advisors. And then, after getting the dream, Nebuchadnezzar calls for his wise men, and probably he suspects them of not telling him the truth, or he genuinely forgets the dream. So he declares to the wise men that he knows he has a dream, but he has forgotten the dream, and he also wants the people, the wise men, to tell him his dream as well as interpret it. And obviously, all of this is beyond the ability of the wise men. But Daniel, who believes in God, gets time, approaches the king, and asks him for some time. And Daniel and his three friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, who are known by the Babylonian names of Belteshazzar for Daniel, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And so these four young boys, probably in their teens, maybe 15, 16 or so, or maybe even slightly younger, they pray and they ask God, and in the night, as a dream, as a vision, Daniel gets the same vision that was given to King Nebuchadnezzar, and he also gets the interpretation of this. And so the next day, Daniel approaches the King Nebuchadnezzar and declares to him the dream which he originally got and which he either really forgot or purposefully forgot. And then he also gives interpretation. And what is unique about this is that in this dream given to Daniel, after having been originally given to Nebuchadnezzar, and the interpretation given to Daniel, this dream came true word for word and is foreseeing at least 300 to 400 years into the future. Because Daniel, sometime in around 300 BC, was taken into captivity in Babylon. And it foresees, this dream foresees right into the time of the Roman Empire and the first coming of the Lord Jesus. And it goes on actually right to the second coming of the Lord Jesus and the setting of the millennial kingdom, which has not yet happened. So it goes at least 2,300 years ahead into, or even more, into prophecy. And this is the first time where we connect this to the ending chapters of the book of Revelation, where the Lord Jesus returns and rules over the whole world for 1,000 years, which is known in the New Testament terminology as the millennial kingdom, or the millennium. The period of 1,000 years is known as a millennium, and the kingdom of the Lord Jesus, where the Lord Jesus rules over the whole world for 1,000 years with Jerusalem as his capital, and that is known as the millennial kingdom. And so to briefly explain this vision, which is very well explained by Daniel himself, the king Nebuchadnezzar sees a statue having 5 parts. There's a head of gold, and then there is supposed to be a symbolism for the kingdom of Babylon, which was taken over by the Persians and the Medians. The Medo-Persian Empire is the chest and arms of silver, and after that they were themselves defeated by Alexander the Great, and the Greek Empire took over the Persian Empire, and the Greeks are denoted or symbolized by the bronze waist and thighs. And after the Greeks came the Roman Empire, which is the legs of iron, and this is all right up to the first coming of the Lord Jesus. And then there is a future prophecy. Of course, all of this is future to Daniel, but there is a further prophecy of the feet, which is a mixture of iron and clay, or lead and clay. So the feet part of this prophecy has not yet been fulfilled, and it is this feet part, this 5th part, which is a continuation of the Roman Empire, but of iron mixed with clay. So it could be a continuation of a part of the Roman Empire and a part of some other empire, or some other element added to the Roman Empire. So right up to the 4th part, which is the legs of iron, all of this was fulfilled in the first coming of the Lord Jesus. But the feet of iron mixed with clay has not yet been fulfilled, and we expect this to be fulfilled even in our future as of today, when the Lord Jesus shall return and destroy the future kingdom of the person who is commonly called the Antichrist, but who according to the book of Revelation is called the beast, and according to the book of Daniel is called the little horn of chapter 8. And so we see in this one vision a sweeping view of 2300 or 2400 years of human history, and a succession of empires, all of whom are based in the Middle East, and all of whom physically conquer Israel. This is very important for us to understand that all these empires, including the last part, the empire of iron mixed with clay, are all directly conquering or have control or a political and physical control over the land of Israel. And yes, we can say that all of them have some kind of connection with the Babylon, although Rome has a very brief connection with Babylon, but we can definitely say that all these empires have physical control over the land of Israel, including the last one, the iron mixed with clay. So with this, we end this brief discussion of chapter 2, and we will take this up when we go further into a discussion of chapter 7, where the same 4 empires or 5 empires which are seen in the statue of the vision given to the Babylon king Nebuchadnezzar, which is from a human viewpoint, looking at all of these empires from a human viewpoint, speaking to a person who is a Gentile who doesn't know God. God gives the king Nebuchadnezzar and also Daniel the vision of a statue, but the same empires seen from God's viewpoint is given once again many years later, right? So this chapter 2 happens at a time when Daniel is in his teenage years, and chapter 7, where all of these empires are given once again to Daniel, this is when Daniel is almost 70 years old, towards the end of the Babylonian captivity. And so all of these 4 and 5 empires, this broad sweep of history, all of this as seen from God's viewpoint are beasts in chapter 7. So we shall go into chapter 7 and we shall review whatever was whatever we have discussed right now in chapter 2, we will review once again in chapter 7. So in the next video we will be going into more details and compare chapter 2 and chapter 7, and go further into the empires that controlled Israel. So thank you all, and may God bless us all as we study His word. God bless you all.